Hi, welcome to the session number 6, video number 2, Plan Schedule Management. Plan Schedule Management is the process of establishing the policies, procedures, and documentation for planning, developing, managing, executing, and controlling the project schedule. The key benefit of this process is that it provides guidance and direction on how the project schedule should be managed during the project. The process is performed once or at predefined points in the project. In the agile or adaptive approaches, the planning happens quite often, generally at the beginning of each time box, which is called an iteration. That is with the intention that we try to control the requirements and changes in a more regular manner so that we will not have any requirement discrepancies, different changes introduced to the system later in the project schedule. The major output of this particular process is the schedule management plan. Now let's have a look at the inputs, tools and techniques, and outputs of the plan schedule management process. Project Charter. Project Charter defines a summary milestone schedule that will influence the management of the project schedule. Project Management Plan. Project Management Plan components include but not limited to Scope Management Plan. Scope Management Plan describes how the scope will be defined and developed, which will provide information on how the schedule will be developed. Development approach. As you see in the figure, the product development approach will help define the schedule approach, estimating techniques, scheduling tools, and techniques for controlling the schedule. Enterprise environmental factors. This is another input for the process. The enterprise environmental factors that can influence the planned schedule include but are not limited to organizational culture and structure, the team resource availability and skills and physical resource availability, scheduling software, guidelines, and criteria for tailoring the organization's set of standard processes and procedures to satisfy the specific needs of the project, and commercial databases such as standardized estimating data. Organizational process assets. The organizational process assets that can influence the planned schedule management process include but are not limited to existing formal and informal schedule development, management and central related policies, procedures and guidelines, templates and forms, and monitoring and reporting tools. Now let's have a look at some of the tools used for plan schedule management process. Expert judgment. Expertise should be considered from individuals or groups with specialized knowledge or training in previous or similar projects. Schedule development, management and control. Scheduling methodologies like predictive or adaptive life cycle, scheduling software, and the specific industry for which the project is developed can play a huge role in coming up with the most appropriate project schedule. So do utilize them. The second tool that can be used is the data analysis. A data analysis technique that can be used for this process includes but not limited to alternative analysis. Alternative analysis can include determining which schedule methodology to use or how to combine various methods on the project. It can also include determining how detailed project schedule needs to be, the duration of waves of rolling wave planning, and how often it should be reviewed and updated. An appropriate balance between the level of detail needed to manage the schedule and amount of time it takes to keep it up to date needs to be reached for each project. The third technique that is used for planning is meetings. This is hugely used by any project management team. Project teams may hold planning meetings to develop the schedule management plan. Participants at these meetings may include the project manager, project sponsors, selected project team members, and selected stakeholders, or anyone with responsibility for scheduling and planning. The major output of the plan project schedule management process is the schedule management plan. The schedule management plan is a component of the project management plan that establishes the criteria and activities for developing, monitoring, and controlling the schedule. The schedule management plan may be a formal or an informal document, highly detailed or broadly framed based on the needs of the project, and includes appropriate control thresholds. The schedule management plan can establish the following. Project schedule model development. The scheduling methodology and the scheduling tool to be used in the development of the project schedule model are specific. Release and iteration length. When using an adaptive life cycle, the time-boxed periods for releases, waves, and iterations are specific, and they are specified in the schedule management plan. Time-boxed periods are durations during which the team works steadily toward completion of a goal. Time boxing helps to minimize scope creep as it forces the teams to process essential features first and then other features when time permits. Level of accuracy. Level of accuracy specifies the acceptable range used in determining realistic activity duration estimates and may include an amount for contingencies. Units of measure. Each unit of measurement, such as staff hours, staff days, or weeks for time measures, or meters, liters, tons, kilometers, or cubic yards for quantity measures, is defined for each of the resources. Organizational procedures links. The work breakdown structure, or WBS, provides the framework for schedule management plan, allowing for consistency with the estimates and resulting schedules. The next one is project schedule model maintenance. The process used to update the status and record progress of the project in schedule model during the execution of the project is defined. Control thresholds, quite critical benefit. Various thresholds for monitoring schedule performance may be specified to indicate an agreed upon amount of variation to be allowed before some action needs to be taken. Thresholds are typically expressed as percentage deviations from the parameters establishing the baseline. Rules of performance measurements. Earned value management. Rules or other physical measurement rules of performance measurement are set. For example, the schedule management plan may specify rules for establishing percent complete, EVM techniques, example baseline, fixed formula, percent complete, etc., to be employed during the schedule. And the schedule measurements such as schedule variance and schedule performance index used to assess the magnitude of variation to the original schedule baseline. Reporting formats. The formats are frequently for the various schedule reports are defined. So with all these benefits, it proves that, it demands that you have to have a proper plan schedule management process, ensuring that all these benefits are gained during your project development. Let's have a recap of what we have discussed so far. So at the end of the plan schedule management process, it produces the major document called schedule management plan, which is a part of the project management plan. Schedule management plan will talk about the following. How will I create the schedule? What tools are used for scheduling? How will I go about planning the schedule for the project? How will I effectively manage and control the project to the schedule baseline and manage schedule variances? And the schedule management plan includes scheduling methodology and scheduling software to be used on the project, establishment of a schedule baseline, identification of performance measures to identify variances early, planning for how schedule variances will be managed, and the identification of schedule change control procedures. It also includes how you will measure schedule performance and in what frequency, guidelines on how estimates should be stated, example in hours or days, variance thresholds, what are the thresholds allowed, what is tolerable, what is not, types of reports for schedule, what type of reports will be produced in terms of the schedule management. So far, hope you enjoy the planning processes, and what is up next is define activities process. See you there.